What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Moguls. My name is Findlay-Shirras, and on today's show, we have the co-founders of BrokerAssist, Marshall Beck and Dan Spillane, both new startups in the real estate space, just recently featured at Inman on the New Kids on the Block. So I'm excited for you all to get to know them and their new technology to see if you might want it or need it. Thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So why don't you guys each give me a quick 2-minute your stories, who you are and what you've done before BrokerAssist, and then how'd you guys come together on this new venture?
Absolutely. All right. So I started out in college, actually, in the entrepreneurial community with a startup called Athlete's Honey Milk at the time, out of Boulder, Colorado. It was a high-protein energy drink that I worked in their guerrilla marketing and sales team, and they really exploded. They turned into, or rebranded as Core Power, and then was actually partnered with Coca-Cola and acquired, and that as I was leaving college. So I worked for them for a little bit, then I became vegan, and so I exited out of that company because I don't drink milk anymore, and then I started into real estate shortly after college as a realtor. I've been a realtor now for 5 years and have really enjoyed learning a lot about the problems that realtors face on a daily basis, and that's how BrokerAssist was really born, is through my own experience as a realtor and engaging in fractional assistance and referral opportunities within our company, Dreamtown Realty, which is the second largest real estate independent firm in Chicago.
Cool.
And then in working together as a team out of Dreamtown Realty, we saw this problem and we went for it, dove right in. Yeah.
Right on. How about you, Dan?
So I've started in the real estate market about 25 years ago as a developer with single-family homes and multi-use buildings, commercial and residential above. And I also worked at IBM for 22 years. So I had that technology background, real estate background, and then Marshall and I partnered up around real estate brokerage as well. And about 5 years ago, like Marshall said, and we saw this need in the marketplace to go develop this. I also have an entrepreneurial advisory background with several startups in Chicago and have had a real passion around the real estate market. So the intersection of technology and real estate fit right in my background, and this just seemed natural to go into.
So tell me more about the problem that you saw and experienced that this new company solves.
Yeah, so at Dreamtown Realty, we engage all the time in what's considered fractional assistance. So we will offer each other, maybe $50 to cover a last minute showing, right? Or we're on vacation, need help with something. So we'll offer each other on what's called a memos email system at Dreamtown Realty. And it creates a lot of noise in our email system, right? So our brokerage firm owner does not really enjoy that. It takes away from lead generation, other things, productivity. So we saw this need to integrate into a single platform all the payment processing, so you're not running around checks or cash or all different, Venmo, Zelle, different options, and bring it all together in one platform in a marketplace that's real time as well.
So when I hear that, I hear Fiverr for real estate tasks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Almost the gig economy,
yes,
but for real estate tasks.
Yeah, on-demand marketplace. That's
right.
right.
And the need really comes from the inefficiencies that brokers have because they're either on the other side of town, they're on vacation, or they have something else like servicing another client. But when that client wants to see a home, especially in real estate, you need to make sure they get to see that home, or make sure you're at the inspection. And right now, brokers have a very difficult time doing that, and then to find someone to back them up is very difficult. So in and of itself, may spend as much time had they just done it on their own. So that's what we've really seen in that memos, emails. One, it creates a lot of noise, and it detracts you from what you really want to get done is, again, get that next client, get that next listing. And if we become more efficient, we make more money. So we have more time to actually generate revenue. So this way you allow other people that are idle to go help you with that. And when you're busy, you can use it, not vice versa. When you're idle, you can make sure that you're helping others.
Yeah. When did you think of this and get the MVP out?
Yeah.
What's been the timeline?
Yeah, we were doing it ourselves all the time on our transactions, so we would probably do at least a couple times per transaction, offer up a job to another broker to cover us on something. partly because as a new agent too, when I was just starting out, I would take any and every job, right? So I'd be maybe working the south side, the north side, and running around for an hour, in rush hour or something wasn't a whole lot of fun. So I just have someone cover for me on those or on vacation. So it was born out of our own experiences and needs. And then not only that, but the other side, which we haven't really touched on yet, is the referral and co-listing piece, which is really important as well, because in real time you can request assistance on this application for another broker in another state or even in your area for a co-listing or referral opportunity. And then in real time it's on the map, and you can offer to assist on these jobs and get connected on them without having to pay a substantial part of your commission to a third-party platform like ourselves, because we don't charge anything for that connection service. And it's important for you and with your clients, because a lot of times we forego on outbound referral opportunities because it takes us too long to connect our client with another agent in another state or something, because we do have to vet and do research and all of that on them, and our clients maybe found someone already through a family friend, someone else, and
Or Zillow.
Yeah, or Zillow. So we do have a 5-star rating system in our application and robust profiles to vet. We're looking at partnering with some other amazing companies we discovered here at Inman to help with some of that as well, to make the profiles more robust. And then we also have the ability for brokers and agents to filter by their brokerage firm. So if it's for fractional assistance, maybe a firm wants to keep it within house, they can do that. Or you can, I worked in rural Colorado as well, where we do help across brokerage firms on deal-specific task assistance or referrals and co-listings.
I was going to ask, I wonder if agents will then pay people from a different brokerage to do tasks for them.
Yeah.
Because then, and if it's any client-facing task, if they get sensitive around it, like you're the agents, you experience it, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on where you're at in the country. Like I said, in rural Colorado, I did see it happening. But in maybe a larger city and with a larger brokerage firm, national franchise, it's probably going to happen more internally. However, at the end of the day, you do want to put your client first, and if it's going to help your client get it done, there might be some risk involved, and that's up to you as an agent in your business and how you want to manage it, right? And but we also do, because we have this transaction history on our application, you can clearly see like, hey, this is what we agreed to, and did you stick with that or not? Okay, I'm going to give you a 5-star rating or not, right? So quickly we can vet the agents that are using our application.
Yeah, if there was a dispute between who had the client, this would document.
This has the history.
This is how the introduction occurred.
Yeah.
I can imagine realtors being like, I'll do that task for you, but for this rate. And then another realtor's like, well, I'll do that task for you for this rate. And one may be more experienced and then the other. And so, like, do you see this as being like a free-form freelancer website, like micro task where you create your rate, and that helps you either get lots of tasks if you want to take stuff on, maybe as you're a newer realtor, or do you think it'll be catered towards people who are really experienced only?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So for right now, we just have it actually on the side, the person that's requesting assistance is the one that determines the price on the application, right? So they set a price and say, I'm willing to pay $50, and then the marketplace determines it, right? So it's posted into the map, and people can search similar to like on Uber. You see them the jobs floating around in your area, and you can set your criteria and what you want to search for, and then and you decide, I'm willing to do that, or no, they're not paying enough money for that, right? Like, and so the person that requested it may have to up the price to get someone to bite, or to get more than one person to bite, so they can kind of sift through different options, and it kind of self-regulates as a marketplace that way.
And so to your point, what this allows you to do is have multiple brokers respond to your request, and you get to determine who then is going to assist you for that task. So that's a really important part of it.
What kind of tasks do you think will be the most common things that people will be doing?
Yeah, so through our analysis at Dreamtown Realty, we see that showings, inspections, final walkthroughs, open houses are up there with showings actually, are some of the most common. Appraisals will be up there, and then other. We have this other category, which is just for, hey, will you run this check across town, or will you deliver these keys, or will you let a contractor into the property? Simple things like that, or you never know. So we're going to allow people to even possibly make anything they want, make up anything.
Where they want to have that trust of a realtor to do the work for you.
A licensed professional. Which is really important. Everyone
Not
has
a generic
to be
task delivery person.
Yeah.
This is a realtor. And that's why this app is about keeping the broker at the center of the transaction, which is different than some generic task flow, which there are other items you could do that with, or other apps you could do that with.
Now your brokerage seems to have something going on internally that I've never really heard before. Is that like a really common thing? These email chains flowing around, like, or is this going to be replacing something as like it's currently being done this way, and this is going to replace it?
Yeah, so it's this happens all the time. Just being here at Inman, I learned from a lot of different brokerage firms that they do have maybe a memo system like that, an email system, or a Facebook, which is I was surprised to hear. There are a lot of groups. I'm not huge on it myself in my real estate business, so it was interesting to hear that they have groups of brokers that get together and assist each other on Facebook, but it's not integrated with payments, right? It's not. It doesn't have the real-time, efficiency of the application.
So it's very noisy. It's hard to tell the signal between the noise. And so is that really a job request or wasn't? So they said these many have Facebook groups are very difficult to follow. And is that task taken by somebody, or is that still available? So all of that is very difficult to manage. So they become in a life of itself, and they want to kill those off. They're just too noisy and very inefficient.
Yeah.
How do you guys plan to make money, or how are you making money? Are you making money?
Yeah. So so we're launching in September nationally. So it'll be available for you to immediately download, and brokers and agents must be licensed, obviously, to get on it, and share with your brokerage firms, right? So the more people on it, the more valuable it'll be to you. So if you get your network of colleagues and brokerage agents in your brokerage firm to jump on it, it'll be valuable immediately to you coming in September. So we're in Chicago right now out of 1871 Incubator with a few hundred subscribers in Chicago across lots of different brokerage firms, as well as the second largest independent firm, Dreamtown Realty, where we're at. He's going to launch it with us there.
So
but as far as the monetization, we're charging 7% service fee, so per transaction, right? So if I were to charge, ask Dan to cover a job for $100 for a showing tour or something like that, then I would be charged $107. BrokerAssist takes just 7%, $7 off of that, and Dan gets the full $100 for doing the job. So it's pretty minimal. It goes
for
up
the
to,
fractional assistance.
Yeah, for the fractional assistance side of things, and it goes up to 10% if you use credit card. But we have an ACH integration with Plaid API, so that you can easily just transfer to your bank account quickly and avoid that extra 3% charge. Yeah.
If this thing takes off, I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, realtors struggle because they don't have assistants, and they need assistants.
Right. Yeah.
But they can't pay full time for assistants. And then sometimes they do have assistants, but they don't fully utilize them.
That's right.
Then there's new agents who don't have income, and they need to find ways to practice real estate and make income. And then there's people who start teams because they think that that's the way to actually get support for their business.
Right.
I see, if this thing takes off, do you see it actually kind of getting people back to being a solopreneur for their own business, where they may or may not have to hire assistants so much anymore until they're really big and need something totally full-time in-house, and teams actually that model now may not continue to grow as it has been, because there's now ways to get that support that you wanted through a team?
Yeah, I think so.
If you take a look at the assistance market in the United States, it's about a $5.2 billion market. So realtors pay people to assist them about $5.2 billion.
That much for human assistance?
For part-time and
full-time
assistants.
Wow.
And that's out of the NAR statistics and the National Bureau of Labor. And that in and of itself is a very large market. The other fractional assistance market's really an undefined market. It's kind of like Uber back in the day. How many people said that, hey, I'm going to go let my neighbor drive me from point A to point B, or someone I don't even know? So it's actually going to, we think, grow the overall market for this assistance, because it'll drive out efficiency, because brokers, helping brokers will be different than just an unlicensed assistant, because you'll be able to do tasks, like your point, and grow a virtual team. And we already see with some of these brokerages out there that are already virtual, but they still need to have a human presence in the marketplace.
Interesting.
And I also think
significant. 21,000 is one of the brokerages already. They're all virtual agents, but they don't have a physical presence in the market.
And so do you think this will, if you think 3-5 years down the road, and there's lots more agents now on this platform giving tasks, doing tasks, do you think that will make people question whether, reduce the need for these non-licensed assistants, and also make people rethink doing teams?
It's possible, yeah. I think though, as like maybe an individual broker who's using BrokerAssist is growing, maybe they at some point still want to hire a part-time assistant to manage BrokerAssist for them, right? At some point, that's possible, and that's something we do want to be able to add to our application development. To be able to allow and figure out how to include them and vet them, right? As assistants that maybe aren't licensed but want to manage a business for a very successful agent or broker.
What else are you thinking about for the future? Like, you have your starting concept and ideas with feature sets. Like, are there other things that you've been thinking about based on the feedback you're getting that you want to build down the road?
For sure, yeah. We have a ton of features built or brainstormed up with our CTO Sam and us, and things like favorites list, different push criteria and notification systems that you can set for your, and to be even complete without having to do anything. Meaning, like, if I have a broker that who offers to assist on a job and they have a 5-star rating and they make this much volume each year, like, just automatically accept them, for the job and just notify me, right? So things like that, so you don't even have to really manage the application too much. And then so it can become kind of like a virtual assistant, right, for yourself. And then other things like the subscription upgrades that will allow for, especially the referral and co-listing networking, it'll be very important to allow you to advertise yourself as a top agent or premier agent or broker in your area, so you get more referral opportunities and lead generation there for referrals, co-listings, and even fractional assistance, because you can, just similar to how Zillow does it with Premier Agent. By zip code, you'd be paying up for a subscription upgrade to get additional features and that advertising presence on the application.
And so the next version, we'll call it version 2.0 next year, will then include service providers. So as they have a task, say for photography, right, and you go meet a photographer, the second version of this will then let you integrate it into scheduling a photographer, or scheduling a stager, or scheduling a handyman. And we've already had some discussions around some alliances and partnerships here at Inman.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When you think about the future of real estate and the technologies, the other technologies, as you mentioned at the very beginning, that are really cool that you think will help drive this forward, that you will either partner with, integrate, what are the things that come to mind that you think are also helping move the industry forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important with BrokerAssist to keep the realtor at the center of the transaction. There's a lot of disintermediation going on in the industry for sure, and that is a part of the future. It will happen. It's going to be a process, and in the meantime, realtors trying to keep them at the center of the transaction is important, and keep them, client-facing and giving them the tools necessary to make themselves very valuable to their clients. So there are some other companies here at Inman, Peer Reputation, and RE Consortia is very interesting, and we have some collaboration there, I think, with them and how they follow like the life cycle of referrals, and we're more of a connection service, so there could be some integration points there. And they also want, they're keeping that realtor, very front and center in the transaction lifestyle or transaction life cycle. So I think that'll be a part of it. I do see the iBuyer movement, of course, it's taking off. Zillow and all the iBuyer virtual offices and things like that, and how we can integrate there and be a part of that movement. We are brainstorming that, and we'd like to. I do think there's the opportunity, because even with an iBuyer, maybe there's a consumer side to this, right? Maybe it's I'm a consumer and I'm an iBuyer and I want an agent. I'll pay an hour, maybe $100 to do a task for me, like review a contract, help me with negotiation, or still include the agent, right, as part of the transaction, and not maybe disintermediate them entirely from the transaction process, and give them agents and brokers another revenue generation tool. So,
and they could be a future client for another transaction then. So we do believe that we shouldn't just say we're competition. We should see how we can engage with the iBuyer movement instead of being totally disintermediated. Actually building those relationships.
Stay connected, yeah.
Now you got some investors watching. What's your plans for investors? You guys raising? How much do you want to raise?
Yeah, absolutely. We are just beginning that process. We've been self-funded. I think maybe we mentioned to this point bootstrapping it. We are looking to raise anywhere between $350,000 to $500,000 in our angel round right now, and are open to talking about details there. And we're looking at Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, that's the first.
That's it, right?
Describe what a strategic investor would look like. What are the strengths or assets or connections they would have?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely a portfolio in real estate is helpful in understanding the industry and having a passion for a broker assist. I mean, we found some people just come to us and just absolutely love it, see the need, and I do think that's important for us to, share, the passion for real estate and share the passion for broker assist in particular.
Yeah, the other kind of backer we see is technology backers. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we saw here at Inman was the interest in people that were not even generally involved in real estate, but wanted to see what this looked like, and they really liked the technology to move outside the real estate vertical. Mm-hmm. They were actually talking to us, said, hey, we're not even in this vertical, we're here to see what this technology is about, and really spent most of their time along the alley that we were on. So it was a really good discussion. They said, hey, how can we take this? So there's another set of investors. In fact, the venture capitalists we talked to, we're not even in the real estate market.
Yeah, the thing that I see, just like there's vertical software, a verticalized gig economy, the real estate version of Fiverr or TaskRabbit, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And the mortgage version of it, or you look
Trades.
at other trades and other industries where they're solopreneurs, they need more jobs, they can do things with very little training because they are that professional too.
Yeah,
so
that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah. Well, congratulations on this new cool idea. I wish you guys all the best. And if you are investors, maybe check them out. How can they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, Marshall at brokerassist.com, Marshall with 2 L's, or feel free to call me too, 847-858-2357.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Happy to.
How about you,
Happy
Dan?
to take a call.
I'm easy to reach, so Dan at brokerassist.com.
Cool, man. Well, thanks very much. And as always, if you guys want to stay up to date with new technologies coming out in the real estate industry so you can invest or so that you can be great in real estate and take advantage of these things, then subscribe to the YouTube show and the podcast and watch more episodes. I'll see you again soon.